Hello everyone, my name is Charles Martin and welcome to my qualifying exam presentation. I'm a doctoral student in Cohort 2 of the Educational Technology program at the University of Florida. Here is my table of contents for this presentation. I will first go over my niche, as well as the profession and where I see myself fitting within the field of educational technology. I will go over my literature review, as well as my professional practice project. Fourth, I will look at some highlights and accomplishments that I have achieved over the past 2 years. I am currently working as an English head of faculty for the Abu Dhabi Education Council. I coach, model lessons, and provide support for 15 expatriate teachers in a local all-boys school in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. I feel that I fit within the field of educational technology in the area of technology-enhanced language learning software, as well as English as a second language. This is the area that I work in, and what I have focused on the previous 2 years is improving learning outcomes for English language learners through technology. In my practice, one of the main issues that we run into as educators is getting students motivated to learn English. Many of the classes look like this or are the extreme opposite. With that being said, my literature review focused on using technology-enhanced language learning software to motivate K-5 international students. The two questions that I focused on were, in what ways can TEL be used in K-5 ESL classrooms to improve motivation? And what are some specific applications for teaching K-5 ESL skills for speaking, reading, and writing? Within this literature review, I included a theoretical framework, research on TEL, and the findings and conclusion. For my theoretical framework with motivation and engagement, Martin and Young, Law, and Nee provided the theoretical basis for looking up articles on motivation and engagement. Cognitive Load Theory and the Cognitive Theory of Multimedia Learning by Sweller, Van Merenboer, and Iris, Clark and Mayer provided the basis for animation and media within TEL, which describes how this type of software can be beneficial for motivation. The software that I looked at included animation and media richness, which is where Daft and Lingo provided the theoretical foundations. Within this research, I focused on 3 areas. The first was software for speaking and listening. Blake, Stockwell, and Warshauer all focused on using computer-mediated communication software, as well as interactive computer-based discussion in order to motivate students. Within all of these studies, students who had high self-efficacy over their work displayed a greater motivation to learn. The second area was writing. Badoy, Greenfield, and Jogan focused on getting students motivated through email exchanges and using word processing software. Students were more motivated because they developed greater interpersonal relationships between students and teachers. The last area was reading, and students in these studies generally saw computer-based programs as fun, which greatly contributed to their motivation. For this paper, I looked at the research question and finding different applications to get students motivated to learn. One of the largest issues that continue to be of importance is professionally developing teachers to get them to effectively use software. Instructional design is also very important for designing applications. In conclusion, there is still a need for research within the context of the UAE, specifically when it comes to creating research-based best practice software for students. My professional practice project is an action-based research project focused on using Genki English for student engagement and motivation. I was very fortunate in that it has a direct connection to my literature review. The components of my project were first the context, my literature review, the methodology, my findings, and then my discussion and as for the context, this project takes place in two grade 2 classes at Al Mustaqbal School in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. Within each classroom there are two computers, an LCD projector, and an audio system. I worked with two teachers who were both from the United States and in their second year of teaching in the UAE. Each of their classes have 22 and 21 students between the ages of 8 and 9. My research question is, does the use of Ginki English help with student motivation and engagement and improve student learning outcomes? As for my literature review, it focused on 4 different areas. The first was second language acquisition and action research. Burns provided the background for how to conduct action research in an ESL classroom. The second portion are studies related to this type of tale. Al-Mekhlafi, Shadow, and Lin conducted studies based on this type of software, which helped with the design. Cognitive load theory and the cognitive theory of multimedia learning provided the theoretical framework for and how the software is effective in motivating students. I also designed the lessons based on Gagne's 9 events of instruction. For my methodology, I drew from 6 different data sources. The first being pre and post assessments. The second is the activity setting observation system. The third is the student motivational scale. I drew from focus groups, journal notes, and informal surveys of teachers. The pre and post assessment findings were very positive and that the students gained in each of the assessments. The greatest increase was for the lesson for What Are You Doing? This proves that Ginki English is effective in improving student outcomes. The Activity Settings Observation System looks at observations on how engaged students are in the classroom. The dialogue and contextualized information was very positive and that students were noticeably influenced by the lessons. The student motivational scale surveys were also very positive in that in each of the areas, students' percentages increased in relation to English class. Within the student focus groups, responses adhered to the games and simulations principle within the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, and that students were motivated through games. The students also liked looking at the animations and singing the songs. The teachers as well as myself, we all kept journal notes which helped us to think about how to improve our practice. I also interviewed the teachers at the end of the project, and their responses were very positive. The responses showed that they felt that their students grew from using the software, and they also felt that their practice improved, which was one of the goals of the project. As far as the discussion and findings, the results indicated that the use of Ginki English was very positive. When looking at the students' pre and post assessments, there was a 9 to 35% increase in student performance. Also, when looking at student surveys, they reported a 53% increase in the enjoyment of their lessons with Ginki English. The students were also more engaged and motivated in the classroom from my observation as well as the teacher observations. In conclusion, this project allowed teachers to understand how to use technology in the classroom in an effective way, as well as to increase their reflective practice. Student motivation, engagement, and student outcomes are positively influenced by the usage of Ginki English, as well as the activities that are included in the package. This outcome is supported by the use of Gagne's 9 events of instruction, the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, second language learning acquisition principles, and is also proven through the use of the different measurable instruments that are used in the study. This next video will show you a demonstration of some of the students performing one of the Genki English songs for Left and Right. I hope you enjoy it.
Spin around, step down, stand up, spin around.
Over the past 2 years, I completed my qualifying project in literature review, during which I learned many new things. I also presented at the TESOL Arabia conference in Dubai this previous March on my qualifying project paper. I received a promotion to head of faculty at my school. I am also a member of TESOL Arabia and the Society for Applied Learning and Technology. Over the next year, I intend to focus on online professional development and creating a full program for my school. Thank you for listening to the update on my literature review and professional practice project. The next few slides are reference slides.